What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video with me today. Now we're going to be flying around my hometown of the Shenandoah Valley, which actually specifically the Central Shenandoah Valley, which is in the Stanton, Waynesboro, Harrisonburg areas. We're going to be flying out of Shenandoah Valley Regional Airport. No place so close can take you so far. That's their tagline. We're going to be landing at the Eagle's Nest in Waynesboro, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be flying over a couple of parts just to give you guys some information just about, you know, some of the local areas and everything, and then we'll be jumping to over to Waynesboro in the end to wrap things up. But basically we're going to also hit Stanton. I'm going to show you Stanton real quick, give you a couple little tidbits of information. You know, not any crazy fun facts or anything, just some stuff about me growing up in that area. We're taking off in my favorite plane here, and let's go ahead and get going. It will take a little bit to get over to where the areas that we need to go, so just be patient with me here. But I'll try to keep you entertained in the meantime. Now this is a relatively small airport. You don't see very many big planes coming out of here. It's mostly Cessnas and stuff. It's a local like flight training airport. You can catch some like puddle jumpers and stuff like that outside of there, but generally speaking, you're not going to catch any major planes. Now that being said, there's an airport nearby that actually received it's an airport in Bridgewater that received the original Air Force One. I believe it was from the 1950s of where that Air Force One was originated from, and that airport in Bridgewater had that plane come in, and they're doing repairs for it. I don't know if the repairs are finished yet or not, but that is something pretty cool plane-wise about the Shenandoah Valley, is that the original Air Force One was commissioned for repair in the valley. So basically this area that we're in right now is called Weir's Cave. Actually, this is where a lot of my family originates from. There's not much there. It's just mostly farmland. You know, churches. There used to be schools there, not schools anymore. There's just not much there. We're going to be heading towards a town called Verona, which is actually my true hometown. Right now what we're doing is we're following Interstate 81, which many of you may be familiar with Interstate 81, as it does extend quite a ways. It's one of the most busiest interstates on the East Coast, especially for trucks. And unfortunately, it's very highly susceptible to tractor-trailer accidents. Once I get my bearings a little bit on exactly where we are in Weir's Cave and or on I-81, I'll be able to point out some more things to you. I believe, if that's correct, what we're looking at over here on the corner on the right, that's my high school. If I'm looking at that building correctly, with in regards to the location. What we'll do here is we're going to go over to the right, and there's a road that runs parallel with I-81 called Route 11, which many of you may be familiar with Route 11 because that also extends very, very far. This is Route 11 right here, and you can actually take this all the way through Central Shenandoah Valley, and take it pretty much, as far as I know, you can take it down to Tennessee, and I think it extends even further than that. But that's what we're on right now. And we're heading towards the town of Verona, which is coming up on the horizon. As you can see here to your left and right, this is Verona. It's relatively realistic in terms of the subdivision developments and everything. But outside of that, it's not. Actually, a fun fact right here, where we're flying over to the right, this is the subdivision where I grew up, which is kind of cool just to look at. That's where I grew up and spent my whole childhood, was in that subdivision over there. Right now we're flying over. We're going to go back over and cross I-81. And just in case my buddy Chris is watching, we're going to do a flyby over his house, well, his neighborhood. And then we're going to make our way towards Stanton. So this subdivision here, I spent a lot of time as a teenager. My high school girlfriend lived there. My best friend, one of my best friends in high school, lived there. I had a lot of friends that lived in that neighborhood, so I spent a ton of time there. And then in this neighborhood, I also had a lot of friends, and this is where my friend Chris lives. So hey Chris, if you're watching this, I'm flying over your house right now. So that's pretty cool. But let's go back over to I-81, and I'll give you guys a little bit more of a tour of the city of Stanton. Just some facts about some of the people from the area and everything. This area was originally known as the breadbasket of the Confederacy, so of course you know that a lot of Confederate related individuals originate from Augusta County, the Stanton, Waynesboro area. Also, just real quick, just to point out, this is the Stanton Country Club. I was a member of that for quite a while there. Some of the best scores I've ever shot as a golfer was here at the Stanton Country Club. Anyways, like I was saying, there's a lot of Confederate leaders and stuff that originate from this area. Also, a lot of American Revolutionary individuals do originate from this area, but more recently, some of the most famous people that come from here are the Statler brothers, which if you like country music and you're into older country music, you know who they are. They're pretty awesome. I used to work at a guitar store in Stanton, and I used to actually hang out and talk to the Statler brothers. They used to come into the store, which was really, really cool. So I got to know those guys there. Also, President Woodrow Wilson was born in Stanton, and his presidential library is based in Stanton. You can go through downtown Stanton. We're going to be doing a flyover of downtown Stanton. You can go to his presidential library there. I haven't been there in many, many years, but the last time I was there, it was just absolutely freaking awesome. I'm going to circle around here, and we're going to go into Stanton. So this is the interstate exit that you would take. My first real job I ever had was right here in this area that we're flying over. It's a bunch of restaurants. I worked at this wonderful little restaurant called Mrs. Rao's. It's absolutely delicious. It's one of the best breakfasts in the South. If you ever get a chance to stop through Stanton, make sure that you stop at Mrs. Rao's for something. It's cheap. It's just really good food. These generic looking buildings here are actually a Walmart and a Lowe's. They just didn't make them look accurate. This is Betsy Bell Mountain, and I can't remember the name of those apartments or anything, but right now we're on Route 250, which is also known as Richmond Avenue. I lived on this road for about 4 or 5 years. Actually, right where we're flying over right now is where I lived. So as we're going through here, you see the road splits between Richmond Avenue. The road to the left here is called Statler Boulevard, and that's just another area with a lot of commerce and everything. But as I'm flying over right here, this is downtown Stanton. What you can see here, you've got Mary Baldwin University. You have the Virginia School of the Deaf and Blind over back behind us. You have there's just a lot of old rustic Victorian buildings that are in this area. Don't be fooled by the horizon, by it looking like it's just some massive sprawling city. It's really not. These are all just subdivisions and just rural areas. It's really what it is. The whole population of the city is only about 25,000 people, so it's really not as big as what it looks. It's just from the air. We're sitting here at 2,000 feet in the air. It looks like it's a little bit bigger than what it really is. So now what we're going to do is we're going to circle over and we're going to go to Waynesboro, which is where we're going to be ending our flight for today. And just a little bit about Waynesboro. It's a little bit smaller than Stanton. Let me take a drink of my beverage real quick. A little bit smaller than Stanton, but it actually is starting to really pick up in terms of business and commerce and everything like that. They've got a lot of new business there. They've got a lot of growth there and a lot of development. So it's a really good thing for that area. I'm very happy to see that it is growing up a little bit. And so it's the same with Stanton. Stanton had a long period of stagnation economically, and now they've got a Hilton there. They've got new restaurants there. They've got all kinds of things there ever since I last lived there, which was about 4 years ago. Was it 4 years ago? Yeah, it was about 4 years ago that I lived in that area. So they've had a lot of growth just in the past 5 years. So right now we're passing over I-81, and we're still on not Route 11. We're on Route 250, I believe. Let me double check and make sure. Yeah, we're on Route 250. So Route 250, as you go into Waynesboro, it takes you into a town called Fishersville. There's not a lot in Fishersville. It's just very sparse little businesses and residential areas there. There is a big hospital there. That's the core hospital in the valley. Is located in Fishersville. But as you can see, it's a lot more rural. And when it comes to Stanton, in every direction that you go, it's going to be rural. Stanton's kind of like the seat. It is the county seat. Well, actually, I believe Verona is the county seat, but technically Stanton is the county seat in terms of, development and everything. But as we go over here to Waynesboro, you'll see that it's starting to become a little bit more developed again. And that's what I was talking about. Over here to our right, we've got Stuart Straft, which is a town that's over by the mountains. But basically, Stuart Straft merges into Waynesboro here, and that's how it's kind of merging into like one town in essence. But I just realized I had my flaps down, but we got to put them down anyways because we're going to be landing at the Eagle's Nest here. So basically, what's in front of you is the Blue Ridge Mountains, and basically the reason they're called the Blue Ridge Mountains is that especially in the mornings they're blue. They look blue, and you can see it even in the game they look blue. So that's why they're called the Blue Ridge Mountains. There's a lot of cool movies that have been shot there and everything. There's a lot of cool movies that have been shot in the valley, period, actually. Just as we're wrapping up and slowing down here and ending up our flight coming into Waynesboro, we've had Hearts of Atlantis, which was a movie with Anthony Hopkins that was shot in Stanton. There was also Evan Almighty with Steve Carell. That was the opening scene of that movie is actually shot in the Stanton Gypsy Hill Park. So if you ever watch that movie, that's where that was shot. We've also had movies like Gods and Generals, which was a Civil War movie that was shot in the valley. But there's a movie that, for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of it, but it was actually shot in Stuarts Draft. It was an indie movie, and I just randomly hopped upon it on like Netflix or something, and then I looked at it and I was like, wait a second, this is up on the mountains here where I go to play with my RC cars. And turns out that the whole movie was shot in Stuarts Draft, which was really cool. Really cool thing to learn about. Looks like we're going to be making a hard bank here, so give me a second here while I try to get my bearings right on what we're doing. Oh yeah, we're definitely making a hard bank. I gotta get the plane slowed down here. Let's drop the flaps. There we go. We're getting to the speed that we need to get. So as we're flying over here, this is all Waynesboro. The Eagle's Nest is just a small, tiny little airstrip that comes between Fishersville and Waynesboro. Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
You're fine. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and get this flight rolled out here. And if for some reason my old friend Andy is watching, this is actually where his family lives, is in this area. Uh-oh, we're not gonna make it, we're not gonna make it. We're gonna make it, yay! Let's kill the engine here. We got a little bit of ground roll, but that's okay. We're gonna make it to the end of the runway with a safe landing. And it wasn't that bad, we just had a little bit of a rough finish there. But we had it good. We landed at the Eagle's Nest. We're in Waynesboro. I hope you guys enjoyed the tour of the Central Shenandoah Valley. Again, we covered Weir's Cave, Verona, Stanton, Fishersville, and some of Waynesboro. I didn't go too far in depth of it, but there's a lot of cool stuff in Waynesboro. I highly recommend just checking out that whole area if you're ever touring through the Central Shenandoah Valley. Please feel free to, if you have any questions or comments or anything, please feel free to leave them below. I'm happy to answer them. I spent many years growing up there. I lived there until I was in my late 20s, so I can answer a lot of questions about it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the music. I hope it wasn't too loud. I hope my voice wasn't too loud. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for watching.